Oh my goodness, we are here today with Matt IT, the legend, the IT guru, the guy who sits behind all of the stuff that Mentor does. And not only has he done it since I was CEO, but he goes all the way back to Albert Cook, if we remember Albert, and that is some 25 years. Matt, tell me a little bit about you, your business, and what you do.
Nice to see you, and thank you for that introduction, Alex. My name is Matt, obviously, and I look after IT support for small businesses. I started probably 35 years ago, in around about 1992. First job was printing out seismic oil maps from computer tape, and from there I got into sort of IT support. I worked in the city on commodity floors and supported traders and merchant banks. And eventually, in around about sort of 2002, I've had enough of the city, so moved to Suffolk and started supporting small businesses from there. But supporting small businesses, but giving sort of IT corporate level support rather than the general sort of day-to-day support.
And Matt, you are a man of many words. I know when I ring you and just say, Matt, my computer is broken. You must have seen so many technological advances and changes and just some really random questions that people bring to you whilst you're giving your support. And just to say, everybody who's listening, Matt is literally 24/7 for me when I have a problem. So tell us a little bit about things such as cybersecurity. What are the initial things you have to deal with on a daily basis, Matt? Just talk to me more about what you do.
Yeah, I mean, cybersecurity is a massive area of IT support. Not a day goes past where I don't get, emails come through that are scams or potentially dangerous. We tend to stop 99% of them. However, some slip through and some sort of query with me as to whether this email is legit or not.
Sounds like me, Matt. Is this one legit? Is this one legit? Should I respond? Should I not respond? So what sort of things are you sort of suggesting to people, sort of practical tips for protection around their IT software and bits and pieces like that? Because this is an enigma for me, I must admit, Matt, but it is your world, I know that.
Yeah, I mean, it comes down to, there's three main sort of cyber threats at the moment. The first one is phishing, where you might get an email through pretending to be someone else, asking you to click on a link. And then it may enter your credentials. This is credential harvesting, where people steal your usernames and passwords. And both of these, happen regularly, every day, and they're an absolute nightmare.
So it's an everyday occurrence. So things like Cyber Essentials and Cyber Essentials Plus, Matt, what do they do?
They help small businesses maintain sort of standards in their security, making sure that you have long, hard to guess passwords, ensure two-factor authentication is across the site, and just make people aware, really. To be more aware of threats is probably the number one way of preventing them.
And what sort of things would you say on the basics of anybody who's out there at this moment in time? Many of the small businesses we've got see emails pop up and either ignore them or click the link and then think, should I have done it? What is your basic do not do this or do this? What would it be?
Well, it's always sort of think before you click, really.
Okay.
If you pause just before it and think, am I actually expecting this email? Most of the phishing emails you get through tend to provoke sort of panic. They sort of say, right, your account's ending in 24 hours, and they try and get you to quickly respond and quickly click on that link. And that's where the trouble begins.
Okay, so there's a bit of fear in there. So it's almost like if you don't, and you instantly think that you shouldn't because it's going to have an impact on you or your business.
Exactly.
When actually slow it down, think, why on earth is this being sent to me? And then respond accordingly, which is where I go to Matt. Matt, is this legit?
Yeah.
Is it actually right? Should I click on it? And you come back and say, no.
But you usually start your email with, is this moody or not?
Yeah, is this moody or not?
Yeah.
That's exactly where it is. So those are the sorts of things. So what sort of trends and things for the future do you see, Matt? Are there more scams and things out there, or are there better security options? Where do you sort of see it going?
The future's scary.
Okay.
It's kind of almost like an arms race, especially with AI that's now come about. You have on one side the good, where there's companies creating AI that will automatically sort of detect vulnerabilities and protect systems. But on the other hand, you also have the criminals that are exploiting that. And probably the worst thing to look out for in the next couple of years, I think, is sort of deep fake stuff.
Okay.
say, for example, I don't know, someone makes a deep fake of you being on this YouTube video, for example. There's people out there that will be copying your voice and feeding that into AI and getting an AI model to talk exactly like you. Now, if you think that way,
That's a worry.
they could use that voice to phone up, I don't know, your head of accounts or something and say, forward me XYZ number of pounds.
Wow, that's quite interesting, especially when you overlay it with things such as facial recognition, and if people are getting information from phishing elsewhere,
That's right.
and all of a sudden, you've created another Alex Till, which is a crazy space in itself.
And once that gets more sophisticated, then they're going to start doing the deep fakes with, Teams meetings and things like that.
Wow.
Scary.
So there's all of these sorts of things. And is there anything we can put in place to combat that at this moment, Matt, or we just got to wait for it to come through and then just sort of see where that happens and respond accordingly?
I think you just got to be careful, and you've got to build things into your business methods, really. So, I don't know, if you phoned up me and I was your accountant, you said transfer me £1,000, the business process for that would be to hang up, and then for that accountant to phone you directly on your mobile or your personal phone number.
So just putting in some measures so you can actually monitor it and everything else. Wow, that's properly freaky in many respects, but also being mindful that we need to understand that certain things are happening at a rate of knots, which we may not necessarily understand in every way, but there's people out there who are going to use it to their advantage, both in a good way and in a corrupt way. So, Matt, biggest cyber myth. What's the biggest myth out there?
The Hollywood hacker type, sitting in a dark room with a hood up.
Yeah.
On his keyboard.
On the Pentagon, trying to crack into it.
That's right. It doesn't work like that.
Okay.
No one is going to target a particular business. It's more a case of a business being found.
Okay.
Because there's no one individual doing it.
Okay.
It's lots of bits of software all over the internet that are finding and trying to find exploits in websites or businesses. They're trying to look for things that are open.
Okay, so it's literally they're working on it rather than someone spending all the hours working through the night trying to do it. You've actually got machinery and artificial intelligence working for it.
Exactly. I mean, a lot of businesses, they tend to think, we're too small. Yeah. No one's going to target us. But there's no one actually targeting them. It's just software finding you.
Okay.
If you think about it, I don't know, you park your car in a massive multi-storey car park and leave it unlocked, and then wonder why it's been stolen.
Yeah.
Well, that person's going around trying all the door handles.
Yeah, that's
it's
exactly
not
what's
targeting
happening.
you. It's finding a hole.
Okay, that's cool. And what one thing that people worry about too much, which they really shouldn't worry about, Matt? What do you think?
They shouldn't worry about.
Yeah. Like having 10,000 emails have not opened. Is that a big worry for certain people? Not that that's the case for me.
Desktop icons.
Oh, desktop icons. We should worry about desktop icons. Okay. That's personal now.
I think I think you should worry about everything. I don't think there's anything you shouldn't really.
So just be cautious on every level of stuff that comes in, what you're transmitting, what you're actually sending out. I always live by the rule: if I couldn't say it to their face, I shouldn't send it in an email.
Possibly, yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
It's cyber security doesn't have to be sort of complex.
Okay.
It's just about forming really good habits.
Okay.
Like having a complex password and not using that on every single site.
Sure.
Having two-factor authentication and things like that.
So maybe people worry a lot about being hacked, like we were saying about that person sitting there going through the night trying to get into their systems.
Well, exactly.
When actually, if they just put good processes in place, as you tell us all the time, put good processes in place, make sure that you're not using the same passwords for the same areas so that you're not creating any little areas where people can pick up on your information. And actually just good protocols around, self-management, really.
Yeah. Well, I mean, you can take, analogy of, you keep your house safe, you lock your door, you lock your windows, you might have some security cameras, and you don't put your key under the mat. Yeah. If you treat your digital online presence the same way that you treat your home, then
that's a really good way of looking at it. It's a really good way of looking at it, Matt. So, Matt, just quickly, as we talk about things with small businesses and those medium-sized ones, is there really a culture that could be created around the whole cyber security, managing your equipment, and making sure that there are certain things you put in place? I'm feeling that they could be, and I'm feeling I might be missing out on this a little bit.
Yeah, I mean, along with sort of securing your staff's accounts so they can't run malicious code without authentication. The best thing in a business is to build a certain culture where your staff feel safe and they want to say, hold a hand up and say, I might have just clicked on something stupid, or they might want to send an email to IT support saying, is this okay to click on? It's about creating, awareness. There's also sort of phishing training that you can do, where we can send off sort of fake phishing emails,
Okay.
and then we get a report back on who clicked on what and why they did and who didn't, and then you can educate your staff.
Oh my goodness! And could you actually track that, Matt? So if they did it via their phone or they did it via their PC, because that'd be really interesting as to when people respond and on what basis, and whether or not it's been done in an environment which is quick and they're trying to respond to it, whether or not it's been a considered environment. That's really interesting. So like mystery shopping, in a sense, mystery phishing. Yeah.
Mystery phishing.
Mystery phishing. I quite like that. I think that could be of real benefit to a number of different organisations, especially the report that comes back.
Yeah, I mean, it's all about awareness.
Yeah,
really,
massively.
and knowing what to click on and what to not, and always think before you click.
That's superb. I'm going to dig in on that one, Matt, because I think that's a really exciting piece. Definitely something I'm going to be investigating further, because I think that would be great to just build that culture, one of openness, so people don't think we're tricking them out, but also the sophistication of some of the scams and things which are coming through, just so that we can actually do it in a controlled environment.
Yeah, it's crazy. Yeah, I mean, with these scams that come through, I mean, the things that you need to think about are, like I said earlier, does it invoke panic?
Yeah.
To also look at the email address it was sent from. If it might say Microsoft support on it, but if you actually look at the email, it would not be from Microsoft.com. It would be from some random domain somewhere. And also on the links, if you hover over them, you can also see where they're going. So if if you got an email from, I don't know, NatWest, and you hover over it and it doesn't say NatWest, it says something, ludicrous, do not trust it.
Okay, that's all really interesting. Definitely going to investigate. And I think there'll be more organisations out there that want to trial this as well, just in terms of understanding how their staff function and how they respond. And actually, it comes down to me in terms of the risk management piece as well.
Yeah.
Managing risk from a small business is
Indeed.
really, really important. Yeah. But the open and honesty piece as well. I've clicked on something, might have gone wrong. Okay, it's good to know, because then you can react even quicker. So, Matt, give me some real life examples of cyber attacks.
Well, the most worrying ones that I encountered are ransomware.
Okay.
Where a malicious party would get in and encrypt all of your data.
Right.
So what you would see, you wake up sort of Monday morning, all you see is a ransom note saying, I've got all your data, give me X amount of Bitcoin and I'll give it back to you. From there, your business, you can't access your invoices, you can't access your customer data, you can't access anything. And it can really screw up some businesses. But unfortunately, a lot of businesses don't take proper precautions, like proper backups, which is always very important. And obviously, another important factor is securing the PCs. For example, if you have a company of, 5 or 6 staff, make sure that all those staff members don't have admin rights to the computer, so it's locked down. So if someone does make a mistake, click on a dodgy link, that software can't do anything because it needs consent in order to install and affect the computer.
So just a quick question on that then, Matt. So are we saying that people shouldn't be using their own personal equipment within a business because it may not be aligned to what's needed by the business?
Exactly, yeah.
Okay, cool. Because I know in many instances people go, I just want to use my Mac. I'm not up on the technology, but they want to use their Mac, or they may want to use something else because they prefer it. Actually, what we're saying is, unless it's company approved, unless it's within the whole system, so things can be shut down by the administrator, then it should not be used.
I think so. I mean, you don't know, the person's home computer may not have any antivirus software on it, for example. It may already be infected.
Sure.
It's not a good thing to do.
So other cautionary measures: don't use external equipment within your organisation, or open it up to being worked in with the organisation. And with that ransomware, Matt, did you have to sort that out? Did you solve that?
Yeah.
Wow, how did you do it?
It's
And I'm presuming you didn't
backups.
pay.
No, we didn't pay. I had to pay that out of my own pocket, but no, it's a fairly small to medium, probably 20 employees, and I got a call urgently on the Monday morning. Everything was gone, but luckily we have backups for them, but immutable backups. Now, immutable means that no matter what, the data can't
Can't
change.
get into it. Yeah, yeah.
So we restored, and they recovered. I mean, there was a number of files that they couldn't quite recover, which were on people's desktops and things like that. But yeah, they got us scot-free.
And
Other
sort of
businesses,
how long did that take you, Matt? Because that sounds like quite intense.
a couple of days.
A couple of days to
Yeah.
sort that out. Okay, but you can cope with that. That's what you do as part of your service.
Certainly.
Additional fees, obviously, if there's something which people are paying for on a regular basis, and then something quite crazy comes in.
Exactly. Yeah.
Wow. And how did you feel? Were you like, I'm really excited because I've got to deal with this? Or was it like, oh my goodness, I've now got to figure out where this all fits together?
No, I was worried. I'm very passionate about the business that I look after.
Sure.
I'm almost like a member of that company's IT team.
Of course.
From my eyes. So I was worried, but I got there in the end. With the help of a couple of my colleagues that helped look after the back end of the business. I tend to like being more sort of customer focused and going out and meeting people, really.
But that's a great sense of satisfaction to know that you saved, in a sense, that organisation. So, Matt, tell me a little bit more about passwords. What should people do? How should they use them? Should they have the same one on an ongoing basis? Because all of this can become a bit of a minefield when you have lots and lots of things you have to sign into.
You certainly do. And you certainly should keep every single password unique. There's some really good tools out there for actually doing that.
Okay.
There's a great tool called Bitwarden.
Okay.
That's essentially free for a single person.
That's Bitwarden.
Bitwarden, yeah.
Okay.
Essentially a password manager, and it'll also generate a password for you, so you're not putting in the same old password for every site.
Okay. How can people find that? They just go in and type in.
Yeah, if you just search for Bitwarden or bitwarden.com,
Okay. Perfect.
and you can download a trial.
Okay, that's good. And then do you have to pay for it on an ongoing basis, or?
I think it's free for an individual person. But
Okay.
then you can have sort of a different level up where you have teams, so
Okay.
you can share passwords between your staff if you want to.
So rather than having an Excel spreadsheet and a password protected thing on there which you share with your staff, this is probably a much better approach.
It's probably slightly safe, yeah.
Slightly safer.
Yeah.
Okay. Cool.
But in terms of choosing passwords, if you don't want to have a password manager, then the best method is for picking 4 random words in order. I don't know, like purple, lobster, rocket, bridge, for example, all in one word. That's 12 characters. It's easy to visualise. That's how I do it.
And for me, easily to forget because I would never remember those words. But I think that's a really, really
Yeah.
good tip. It's a bit like that My 3 Words, isn't it? In terms of where you would
Bit like
look
that, yeah.
at locations and bits and
Yeah.
pieces. But actually, the randomness of it, if you're actually able to keep it and make sure that you know where that's logged with Bitwarden, then that actually is a really, really good way of doing it.
Yeah.
Because otherwise, you get caught up with exclamation marks and asterisks and all of these other bits.
But
and
that's right. I
pieces.
mean, you don't have to remember that. So once it's entered into Bitwarden,
Yeah.
next time you go to that site, it'll put it in for you.
Okay, that's superb. And in terms of people who have got lots of different passwords and lots of different areas where they need to get into, good protocol to refresh them every now and again, or would you just say if it seems secure, it is secure?
I think if you've got 2-factor authentication on top of your password, then you're secure.
Okay.
2-factor authentication is a bit like a double check.
Okay.
So your first level of defence is your password, and then it checks again with a code or a symbol that's been sent to your phone or your app.
Yeah.
I guess it's a bit like I don't know, you're queuing up when you're young to a nightclub, trying to get in. The bouncer looks at your ID. Doesn't only look at your ID, but he also looks at your face as well. That way, it's 2 factors. He knows your date of birth, he knows your face, and hopefully he'll let you in the club.
That's a really, really good point. I know for me on the 2-factor authentication, when it comes through on my phone, I'm trying to figure out whether or not it's going at the same pace, at the same speed that I need it to, and sometimes it's slightly slower than is needed. So I'm constantly trying to go refresh, and then I get about 4 or 5 different numbers come through I have to approach. But that's probably down to me, Matt.
You'll talk to your IT support about
I
that.
should do. I'll have a word about that. Just see where it goes. And there he goes. There's a lead. So Matt, tell me a little bit about. We've talked loads about cybersecurity, password protections, a little bit about IT support. You've not even mentioned your organisation. So tell me a little bit about who your organisation is and what you do and what your offer is, because it would be really, really important because people are going to be needing to know out there.
Organisation's called Business Information Technology Services,
Okay.
which is a bit of a mouthful, so it's known as BITS.
Okay.
At BITS, we look after small to medium businesses. We try and be as proactive and as jargon-free as we possibly can.
Superb.
We offer a managed service, so everything is all under one roof, which means your IT is fully looked after, and predictable finance and spend.
And you can do it remotely as well, Matt, which I know
do it
I
remotely.
find absolutely fantastic, because I can be in the middle of nowhere and ring Matt with a problem and he'll say, I'll take over your computer. So for me, that is amazing. And I know that you can do that for the team as well. And literally you have secured Mentor for many, many years, decades even, in terms of the IT infrastructure that we have. And to this day, I still think you're a legend, Matt. I love what you do for us and the team, and I couldn't thank you enough. So it's a real pleasure to have you here on the podcast and talk about a world which you fully understand, which I have no idea about. So thank you for today, Matt. Absolute pleasure. And you will be getting some more queries from me later on today, no doubt.
Possibly, yeah.
Okay, thanks, Matt.
Thank you.